What's up, guys? M. Jones back in the house again, doing a new segment today and also filming from a new spot. I have just recently built myself a little man cave. I will give you a tour at the end of the video. But today, my new segment's called Real Talk. R-E-E-L. Very creative, huh? Well, Real Talk today, my very first ever Real Talk, is about the new Batman. If you heard last week, I think you saw that Ben Affleck is going to be slated to play the new Batman in the 2015 film. And a lot of mixed reviews. I think more were anti it rather than pro. When I first heard it, I was like, "Are you kidding?" I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Why didn't Christian Bale take the money?" There was a lot of money, set out there for him. I was so surprised that Christian Bale didn't go for that. I don't know if he has another project in mind he really wants to do during 2014 or 2015. I don't know. I was shocked he didn't take the money to do this movie. Maybe because he thought Man of Steel did so bad that, Zack Snyder's going to really F it up compared to Christopher Nolan's doing. So maybe Christian Bale knew something, that we don't know. And probably won't find out till 2015 when the movie could actually suck. Ben Affleck, in my opinion, not a good choice. Not a good choice. Very one-dimensional, very just the same tone. Nothing really changes. I was not big on the pick. I really wasn't. I think back to days when he was in Phantoms and Geely, and when he was in Dogma and Good Will Hunting, and God, Ghost Rider. I don't even want to say it. Daredevil, whatever he was in, Daredevil. I really am worried that this is an awful pick because I don't know what they're going to do to make him cool. I think Ben Affleck is a good producer, good writer, but just acting, I'm just not big on. I don't think he was that good in Argo. A great director, all that stuff for Argo, but just the acting, he's so one-dimensional, and I feel like he is who he is so much. He's a very proud Bostonian, and I'm all for taking pride in your roots and all that. But he carries that so much into his characters, and it's hard to take him away from that. Like, I could never picture him being from the South. I could never picture him being from, oh my God. I could never picture him being from Florida. Like, he looks like he's from the Northeast. I don't think it's fair to say that he would do any justice to this role. I don't know how they're going to do justice to this role. I'm really dying to know where Gotham City was going to be portrayed for this movie. If it's Boston, I'll throw up because everything Ben Affleck does is so much reverence to Boston. It just gets on my nerves. But that's well beyond what I want to talk about. So I'm really just trying to figure out if I think if it's actually going to be any good to have Ben Affleck as the Batman. I was looking at a list of out of all actors, starting from the very beginning, origins to now of Batman's. And also, Louis G. Wilson and Robert Lowry were well back in the day, during the serial days. Don't know anything about them. I have no idea. They got no accolades whatsoever. And I read about Buster Keaton. I was looking online, and someone said that Buster Keaton, not Michael Keaton, a guy named Buster Keaton was in the movies, and he was a silent film guy. And they said he actually played a Batman in a few parts. I don't know if that's true. If that's true, let me know. I've been trying to find if that's true. I haven't seen it anywhere, but I actually heard that he was a Batman in certain films that were silent. So if you happen to know that, let me know. Adam West, he's probably the most well known for most of our parents and grandparents. Michael Keaton in the 80s, 90s. Val Kilmer in the 90s, George Clooney in the 90s. And then, finally, justice was served and Christian Bale became Batman. And then now, as of now, if that changes, maybe, hopefully, now Ben Affleck is now your 8th Batman. And I try to think who I thought, from 1 to 4, being the top 4 Batmans. Number 1 to me is Christian Bale. Number 2 is Michael Keaton. Number 3, I would probably say Val Kilmer, just because I saw him. And number 4, I'll say Adam West, just out of respect. I've read a lot of polls saying, from first and second place of Batmans, it's always a mix between Michael Keaton and Christian Bale. In my opinion, I would say probably Christian Bale, because I just liked the modernized Batman so much more. as an adult than I did as Michael Keaton as a kid, if that makes sense. You know, I'm in my late 20s, so when I was a kid, I wasn't really into like the whole Bruce Wayne connection with Batman. But when he was, you know, Christian Bale was the Bruce Wayne in the Batman, I had a lot more interest in that. I thought that was cool. But as a kid, I was more worried about Batman, so the whole Bruce Wayne thing meant nothing to me. So I think that's why I relate better with Christian Bale, because I appreciate the adult and also the superhero. You know, and I was trying to figure out like why I picked that, and I said I think because, you know, for one thing, Adam West to me, he was really good for more of like a kid's show. He didn't really have an edge to him. He was just like a really good guy, and that was it. Like there was nothing else to it. And I think Michael Keaton was really good for the time. That being like the late 80s and early 90s. I think he was just right for it. You know, and what I liked about Michael Keaton a lot is he did very, very, very minimal talking as Batman. I liked that. I don't know what it was. I just thought that was really cool. Like the whole silence is gold and less is more kind of thing. So I really liked that. But for me, I just think Christian Bale was so good. For the time now, he was just, you know, off the screen. He's kind of he's a little bit of a problem sometimes off the screen. If you remember about Terminator Salvation, freaking out on screen on set like that. He just has like a kind of a very unpredictable attitude, and I kind of like that as an actor because you never know. Because sometimes you can really show genius as an actor if you're unpredictable. If you're very predictable, like, you know, Ben Affleck, in my opinion, is. There's no genius. It's like, okay, you just did from the script. Christian Bale, I liked. I really did. I'm very sad he's not gonna be the next Batman, in the next Batman movie. Excuse me. You know, so I kind of figure why I think I kind of rate how I do with Christian Bale being number one for me. You know, and I think you can compare Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger just the same way as Michael Keaton and Christian Bale. Keaton and Jack Nicholson were awesome for the 80s and the 90s. How they were in those movies, I don't think would work at all for the Christopher Nolan movies. So I really think, you know, Heath Ledger was a genius casting for his Joker, and Christian Bale is always a great cast as Batman. And I do think Heath Ledger is better as Joker than Jack Nicholson was. That's my opinion. You know, and I was trying to find a bunch of different reasons why. I was trying to find if there's actually any reason why Ben Affleck could be worthy of Batman. And here's the saving grace, in my opinion. I do think Ben Affleck's probably a good guy in real life. I do. I'm sure he's probably fine. And I'm sure he's a good family guy. That's cool, too. But his only saving grace to me is the director of the film, Zack Snyder. You know, Zack Snyder, he did, you know, 300. You know, he did, I think he did... what other movies did he do? I think he did Watchmen, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he did Watchmen. And he always kind of is so edgy. Like, he has a way of really overdoing it on the screen. Do I think this movie needs to be overdone? I do now because of Ben Affleck. If you would have had Christian Bale, no, it could have been fine. But now the Zack Snyder, who really, I think, will really make Ben Affleck more of a badass, you know, and really try to make him really come off as somebody you don't want to mess with, then I think that would be beneficial to Ben Affleck. You know, maybe cut his hair really short, give him a buzz cut. Maybe have Ben Affleck hit the weights, get 20 pounds of muscle all jacked up. Maybe try to just really be very, I don't know, just be a little different than most of his films. I think that'll really help. I do think also, you know, Bruce Wayne, the character Bruce Wayne in Batman, you know, they're not that complex of a character. Bruce Wayne's very intelligent, very humble in his own way, but knows what he wants, very, very confident. I think Ben Affleck can probably do that. I think he could be a normal Bruce Wayne, because I think he seems more quiet in nature, and Bruce Wayne was quiet. And Batman, there's not much to it. He just saves. You know, I think if Ben Affleck goes the route of Michael Keaton, very quiet, very cool as Batman, he'll be okay there. I think that's very important. Ben Affleck has gotten better over the years, just in the whole sense of movies. I don't say as an actor, but just he knows how to be a winner. So I think he can step up to the plate for this movie. I don't think it's a good casting. I've said this many times. I think there's so many better choices, but I think he can really step up. I think he can. I think it's his I think it's his main objective to step up, because I'm sure he's not the only one that hasn't heard all the strife about him. I'm sure he's heard it. I bet he's probably more fired up now to put on one hell of a showing. So I think that's really really good for this. And I think if I just don't know. I'm just so nervous about him being Batman, because I think he could really screw it up or he could nail it. And I was trying to think of other good actors I think that could definitely take a hold of this movie as Batman better than Ben Affleck could. And the first person I thought of, which would give him kind of a real big start in Hollywood, is Jai Courtney. I've told you in my recent videos how much I like him. I loved him in Jack Reacher. He was John McClane's son in A Good Day to Die Hard, I think it's called, the fifth Die Hard. And just something about him. I think he's a really good actor. I think he would get so much acclaim from that movie, and I think he would steal the show much more than what Henry Cavill would do as Superman. I think that would be a great casting. I think Carl Urban would be a great casting as Batman. I do like him a lot in most movies. I even even though Thomas Jane played the Punisher, I think he would be a good Batman, because he has a Michael Keaton look to him. Very stone face, very simple, nothing crazy. And I thought those three would be really good choices. I would love to see Jai Courtney as Batman. I think he'd be really good. I even thought Edward Norton for just 1 second, but then I'm like, he was the Incredible Hulk. I don't know how that would work. And I thought about Eric Bana too, but he was the Incredible Hulk. I don't think it's good to have multiple guys play different roles. I mean, to have like one guy play multiple roles in the whole DC Comics, Marvel kind of thing. It kind of deters away from their characters that they were prior. So I don't think that'd be a good idea. And then when I did think about that, I was like, what about Jeremy Renner? What a great actor he is. But then I'm like, no, because he was just in the Avengers. I just don't think that would work. So I think Ben Affleck's never really been in those movies. He was in Daredevil. But I think we can all forget that, as a movie. I never even remember that movie. But, it's such a risky thing. So my last part of this, I want to talk about what, in my opinion, will make this movie fantastic. My opinion is this. The Dark Knight was fantastic because of the Joker. Fantastic. Dark Knight Rises was fantastic because of Bane. See where I'm getting at? Batman Begins. Cillian Murphy was pretty good as a Scarecrow, but I love Liam Neeson. Just the guy that's kind of the mentor. Notice I haven't said Batman yet. The fourth movie, the Batman vs. Superman, whatever, I think this movie will be phenomenal if the villains kick ass. And I think because now Ben Affleck is cast as Batman, you got to have a superb and obscure and doesn't take many roles kind of actor play the villain against Batman. And I'm even talking like Sean Connery. Someone that's gold. Someone that's going to be like, he's in that movie? Wow. Because I remember when Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker, and then when he died in January of 2008, everyone had to see this. Because it's like, wow, this role must have killed him. Like, he must have went all out. They need to make this casting so huge for the villain. I read that Bryan Cranston's probably going to play Lex Luthor for Superman. Cool, he's the Breaking Bad, whatever. The whole Breaking Bad shtick everyone's on. I don't really give a shit about Bryan Cranston. I'm not a huge fan of him. I think he's going to be a really good Lex Luthor, because he kind of has a good look to him. And IMDb has a good picture of him as Lex Luthor. I think that'll be cool. But I think the Batman villain's going to make the movie. So I'm saying like a Sean Connery, a Daniel Day-Lewis, a Leonardo DiCaprio, someone huge. Someone that you're going to be like, they actually are doing this movie. I would love to see Leonardo DiCaprio play the Riddler. I'd love to see Sean Connery play someone of just absolute power and just kill the scenes. Just because, these guys are legends. I would love to see something like that. Maybe even Anthony Hopkins, but the fact that he was just in Red 2, and that's kind of an action, superhero kind of a thing, I think that might not be as good. But just someone just to that standard, I really think would be cool. I would even go as far to say as Robert De Niro, but I would love to see Sean Connery come back, be in this movie. He hasn't been in a movie in years. Be in this movie, play a villain. or always go with Old Faithful Daniel Day-Lewis. I think that would be a phenomenal way to save this movie. Because I don't think what they have right now is worth a shit. I don't think it's going to be very good. So that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. And I think Ben Affleck casting as Batman, I'm going to go with bad idea. Real talk with M. Jones. Take it easy. K-bye.